Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Pensado's Place. He's Dave Pensado. I'm Herb Charlick. And in a second, you're going to meet our guest, TrapMoneyBenny. But first, a couple of items. Want to thank all of you who came out to see us at Imstafesta in Chicago. That house was packed, although I wasn't there, but I was on the screen. I could see. But we want to thank you for that. And also thanks to our global audience. We passed yet another subscriber milestone, which in our view continues to confirm that if we can get you great talent and do a deeper dive, that while that may be slower, it ultimately is better. So we thank you for that. We couldn't do that without our awesome partners. They are the Blackbird Academy, Avid, Warm Audio, Sonarworks, Isotope, Westlake Pro, and Groove 3, plus all the others who've been there for the ride for 375 straight episodes. So by the way, yes, even though we stopped asking, continue to like and subscribe. That's a good thing. And then finally, because life is life, we want to pay homage to the great Patrick Williams. He was a master composer, arranger, and conductor in the big band, TV, and movie space. He left us last week. He graced us on Pensado's Place, as you can see by the screen. I got to work on a project of his in the big band space, which was a first for me. That got 2 Grammy nominations, which was very important to him. And our best to Catherine and Greer and Jason and Pat Jr. and Elizabeth and the whole family. Dave, RITL's from our Native Instruments friends, correct?
Yeah. I'm excited about sounds.com, and I want to show the audience how to do a couple things. And I got a little surprise guest for them at the end.
Okay, let's roll it.
Hey guys, glad you dropped by. This is going to be a really cool show today. Got my friend Bob Horn here. Bob, what's up, buddy?
How's it going?
Bob and I share a wall. His studio is right next to my studio, so we have a lot of fun together. Listen, I want to get you up to speed on this Native Instruments sample library system. It's truly really well done. Everybody knows if Native Instruments does it, it's going to be done right. And a lot of the problems that we have with other systems, they've addressed those and really taken good care of them. And it's still growing, so it can only get better. But I wanted to let you know that it's a really good way to get samples quickly and to get them, not spend so much time auditioning 1,000 samples. You can go directly to what you need through a really incredible filtering system. But yet at the same time, it still leaves you room to discover things and just shop around and window shop. So if you want to get something like, say for example, some sounds that sound like Drake, you just type in Drake. No, you type in Kanye. So now, here we go. Here's a bunch of Drake samples. And what you do, you can mark them for later usage, and then when you come back, you'll find them over here in the saved category. Or you can just download them. And this keeps track of your downloads. Here's some things that I've already downloaded. Uh-oh. You're not supposed to see, because I didn't want Bob to see I downloaded some of his sounds. Yeah, my buddy Bob Horn's got a sample pack up there. Yep. And I'll show it to you in a minute. He's going to give you some pointers on how to get your own started and how to do quality work. The filtering system on this, I want to go back to that a little bit. Up here, you can see it's obvious what you can do here. It's more than just that. You've got the genres over here, and everything's designed for efficiency. So this is a project for Def Jam Records. The artist is called Jacoy, incredible singer and writer, and the producer is Christopher Riddick Tynes. And I'm showing you a real session. I was trying to get a little more into the drum sound. So here's the drum sound. Okay, and then if we add this sample, this is a solo of the sample. This is a real sample, maple snare, short velocity, number 3. Why didn't I use 2? One better. So it gave me a little air, right? So let's listen to it. So you can see how simple it is. I'd really appreciate it if you guys would do a favor for me. Run down and check out the demo for it. I think you'll find it really useful. But I got another surprise for you. See what happens if we type in avocado. Oh, look. Here's Bob Horn's sample pack.
Comes with avocados.
Oh, look. A bag of avocados drum
That's what it's called.
No, it's not. I went and made a sample of that kick drum and put it in something.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. Avocados? So, Bob, give us a quick rundown. Why did you do a sample pack?
Well, a producer friend of mine, AJ Jenkins, came
AJ.
to me and Eric, my studio partner,
Eric Rikers.
Eric Rikers, and we got together and we wanted to do a sample library for sounds.com, but we wanted to do something that other people aren't doing, and we just got the idea to use our live room. You know, it's like,
Which is one of the best live rooms in town.
thank you. So everything is recorded through room mics in the live room, maybe a spot mic as well, a close-up mic, but definitely room mics, whether they're heavily compressed, mid-side. We had like 3 pairs of room mics, and we just used the room, you know, to make the sound. So we have these corrugated tubes that we scream through and play drums through, and we have real drums and garbage cans with a big Rubbermaid trash bin, 30-gallon we're beating on, and just came up with some really cool sounds and loops. I think there's like 85 sounds and loops total. And yeah, anything we could think of, dropping keys on the floor and just capturing that through the room mics and then putting a flanger on it, you know.
There's several of these that are really, really good. I like the loops. I like the loops a lot. I like the one-shots, the drums. I like those too. But how do you go about making sure that someone can find what they're looking for quickly when you put your drums up?
Well,
is there a process?
Yeah, Native Instruments has you go through this whole process of paperwork and filling out everything, and you got to label everything properly, and you know they have some guidelines to follow. You know, when you submit a sample library, and you know all the metadata, you know, has to be accurate, and that's how people find your stuff. You know,
let's just find a kick drum we like. So let's audition some kick drums. Tell you what, let's do. Let's filter by kick drums, instruments. Come over here, kicks. So now we got just kicks. Let's see what we got. That's good, Bob. I can hear the room.
I like these.
So let's say you like this kick drum here. Come over here. Download it. It's downloaded. Okay, let's go to the desktop. Come to downloads. Throw it in the sample folder. I already had it there, so we're going to replace it with a different one. And now let's come back over here to Pro Tools. This is real time, guys. I ain't faking this. Go to the browser, update it. Come down here to it was rubber something, wasn't it?
Yeah, rubber bin.
So let's drop it in. All right, can I get an amen and applause here? Oh, thank you. Yes. It's not me. It's Native Instruments. So let's see what we got. Cool, so let's put in the track. And there you have it. Huh?
That's nice.
It is nice, isn't it? So, reviewing what we did, Bob made some great samples, some live samples. I think you're going to find a use for almost every one of them. Check out the loops in particular, but you can go to any sample pack you want. Let's do a genre real quick. Let's do something unusual. Let's do Americana. Let's pick a sample pack. The Sounds of Nashville. Ooh, I like this already. Sounds like you, Bob.
That's practically a song right there.
Check this out, guys. It tells you the BPMs and it tells you the key. So this is in D at 103, 112, obviously. It's in A. And then here again, here's how you download it. And if you want to save it for later, I wonder what I got saved over here. Probably some Bob stuff. Ooh, I got some good stuff saved up. I tell you guys, if you want to make great records, you got to use great tools. And if you want to make modern records, you need to use modern tools. Jason Joshua told me that. It's done me good. So check it out. Let me know. Comments below. And thanks so much.
You'd have to not be on the planet to miss the song by Drake called In My Feelings. And you know that song opens up with our guest name because he produced that record, was one of the producers on it. And welcome to the desk, TrapMoneyBenny.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Good to see you, brother.
What's up, man?
So, again, the Vortex, a lot of people don't understand that they want this to come at them, but they don't understand the responsibility when it comes. It's not just a picnic, is it?
It's crazy. I don't even know how to explain it. It's like like hitting the lottery.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah. And
But
between...
Except the lottery's smaller.
Well, but between your record becoming a hit, the relationships and opportunities that come down the pike, the responsibilities of having a public profile that used to not be so public, all the different.
True.
Am I hitting some of those?
Yeah.
And there's no sort of book before that. You just kind of learn along the way.
Right. You just take it one day at a time.
Yeah.
I still can't really wrap my head around it completely, but I'm just really humble. I have great people around me, and I know my parents are proud.
Yeah,
all my friends are proud. But
Cleveland, Ohio.
shout out to Cleveland.
All your 4,000 new friends. Hey, man, take me back 5 years ago, back when you first talked to Oliver. In my opinion, your story is not just inspirational. I think it's a roadmap for today's world. It's pretty special. If you can give me the Oprah version.
Yeah. So about 5 years ago, I was working on this project with my good friend, and he's an artist named Key, or Fat Man Key is his moniker. This is, it's the project called Fathers of the Curse. We were working on it in all of like 2013, and it came out in like the fall, and Oliver had reached out to me via email. He was just like,
Tell me who Oliver is.
Oliver is Drake's
A&R guy, kind of?
Yeah, he's like an A&R, he's like his right-hand guy, I want to say. But he had reached out, he was like, oh, we're just working on whatever. Would you like to send some beats? And you don't know if it's, you get an email, but you don't really know if it's like this person. So I'm just like, all right, cool. Like, let me just send some beats, and maybe it is, maybe it's not. And so I sent like some beats off, and he was like, oh, cool, we really like this one. I'm gonna play it for Drake. And then I kind of don't really hear anything for like, I haven't heard anything since. And then maybe like, end of May-ish, early June, a light bulb goes off in my head, and I'm like, you have Oliver's email, like just shoot a random email, like whatever, like maybe he responds, maybe he doesn't. And I was like, oh, hey, what's up? I'd love to send some stuff over. And he emails me back in like an hour. He's like, yes, sir, send some through, whatever. And then he emails me back like a couple of days later, and he's like, will you send me the stems for this beat?
That's a good sign.
I'm like, okay. And then I kind of don't really hear anything. And then maybe like a week goes by, and Yachty calls me on the phone. And he's like, tell me why I was in the other room with my manager, and he's listening to the song with Drake on it, and he mentioned your name. And I'm like, yeah, good one. I'm like, haha.
It's just really Yachty.
No, like I'm good friends with Yachty, so that's like my boy. So I know he's telling me the truth, but like what he's telling me, I'm like, oh, good, yeah, good one. Like he's like, bro, this is crazy. And that's because City Girls got on it, and they were doing. Yachty is managed by the same people as the City Girls. It's all QC or Solid Foundation, I want to say, is their management. So that happens, and then another week goes by, and then my manager calls me, and he's like, so James is in Toronto working with Drake on the new album, and he's like, Drake plays him this record, and he's like, should I use this for my album? And Drake doesn't know that I'm signed to James. It's kind of like, all like just everybody doesn't really, it's crazy. James hears it and he's like, yeah, of course you should use this. Like, this song's amazing. This is crazy. This is my guy, TrapMoneyBenny. Like, I work with him. So then James comes back and the Rants, we're all like together and they're just like, they keep telling me like, yo, you got one. It's gonna be crazy, da 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 da. I'm like, yeah, I haven't told anybody. I haven't told any of my friends, only like my manager, and they know. And like, I think it's like a week before it comes out, and then sure enough, it comes out on that Friday, and I'm just like refreshing, because I haven't heard it yet. I haven't heard the song. I'm just like getting gassed up by all my peers. Sure. And like, I'm trying to like self-control myself, try not to tell anybody so I don't look like an idiot, because I don't even know if the song's real. And sure enough, it comes out on like Thursday at like 9 p.m. or whatever. The opening line is my name, and it's like, whoa, like this is
oh my God,
this is not what I was expecting. This is crazy. Yeah,
absolutely. You know, I think I was wrong. I'm not sure that's going to help anybody. That's the weirdest story I've ever heard. That's like amazing. So 5 years go by, and then the week before the song comes out, you kind of know it's going to be. I
kind of have an idea, but I don't really know. No, because like in nowadays and age, you know, I've had so many times where like, oh, this song could be the one, or you have a song come out with so and so, but it doesn't come out. So it's like, you can't really believe it until it happens. You know?
Absolutely. But the patience you had and the perseverance.
It was hard. It's not easy.
Brutal.
It's not.
Yeah, it's not easy to sit around.
Especially like getting. So I haven't told anybody. I'm just like, Yachty knows a little bit. James and Lawrence and my manager know. I think James had heard it, but I still haven't heard it, so I'm not like convinced. I'm like, yeah, good one, guys. Like,
explain the James Fauntleroy relationship. Obviously, one of the premier songwriters in the game today.
So I met my manager now. His name's Francesco, and
we know Chesco.
Yeah,
Chesco.
Shout out to Chesco. But I met him a few years ago through one of my mutual friends. And he was running a studio in North Hollywood.
Yep, been there.
And he was like, yo, if you ever need any help with anything or whatever, you know, he's like, you know, let me know. I got you. And I always kind of just did my own like management and whatever, like just because I've seen like other managers and my friends' managers, and they kind of fall out of relationships and whatnot. So I just kind of did my own thing always and just learned from my friends. But things got a little more serious and I'm getting older, and I want to focus on music. I don't want to do my business or have to worry about the business end of things always. I'd rather just, you know, make music and be happy. So things got a little more serious like a year ago, and you know, I reached out to Chesco and I was like, yo, like, you know, you said you got me, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna have you, you know, meet the guys, and he's like, I'd love to manage you. And then I got introduced to all the 1,500 guys, and they took me in as like a family, as part of the family. And I did a publishing venture with James and this company, Peer, and never looked back. Just went to work every day and tried to make some new hot stuff.
And just had a party, which is where we met. At Peer, the Volume Ventures #1.
We had a little party.
Yeah, it was not quite a little party. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, no, it was way bigger than I thought it was going to be.
Me too, when I pulled up. I was like,
your first manager?
He was my first real manager, yeah.
Because I've got friends that just can't seem to make it. They're so talented, and it feels to me, and I could be wrong, I'd love Herb's opinion on this because he knows more about it than I do, but they're kind of always manager shopping, and they're always, it's like getting married. They're waiting for the perfect girl to come along. Of course, that never happens.
Yeah.
And I think the commitment that you made to just go with Francesco.
It just
was
felt
where it all
yeah,
started.
It just felt right. It just like
Commit, guys.
it was just very organic and natural, and like I've had like friends that like help manage me or like kind of help work out stuff, but like nothing that was like this. Like this is like a good family to fall into.
And I think that you actually spoke to what a lot of people, and might be going on with some of your friends, don't understand, is it's got to feel good here first.
Right, of course.
You can do all the intellectual processing and so forth, but it's literally like dating. Like when you used to talk to people dating before you did Tinder and just said, oh, my picture, let's hook up. You've got to have something that feels intuitively right, not just intellectually right.
Right.
You know, that
I definitely took my time and was very like aware, because I've seen like, you know, my good friends that are artists fall into bad deals and bad management and, you know, all the horror stories you hear in the industry.
I work with the guys somewhat, and at the core of that is my intuitive feeling about Rance, his family, 1500 James, Twyla, all that is about first here, and then it's the rest of the stuff.
Right.
So is there a Trap Money Benny signature musically? What's your thing?
I'm just kind of just always trying to reinvent myself and challenge myself to learn even different genres, but there's kind of like a Trap Money Benny bounce, but not too signature. I guess it's kind of signature, but not too crazy. But
I think you hit what, when I listen to your stuff, is kind of cool. It's balanced, but it's not one kind of thing. It can fit different things. You seem to tailor toward.
I like to make my music to be. It could be happy or sad depending on what you're saying. I like that, like. It could go both ways. It could be smiles or cries. It could be either way.
Interesting.
How much of the original demo do we actually hear on the record? I think it's all of it, right?
Yeah, you hear 100%. And
that's pretty rare these days.
Yeah, and then Black and Mild did, like, he layered it with, like, you know, all the bounce, like the snare and the kick, and then all the cool samples and whatnot.
So that's the connection between Lil Wayne, New Orleans, and bounce is all that section is everybody from New Orleans that we know about. But the kick drum itself is a bounce pattern, so I guess that's what kind of made Drake's team want to add more bounce to it, I guess is a way to say it. Do you know anything about that?
I'm not too hip to all the bounce music, but I think the kick, yeah, definitely. The kick and the snare give it that super upbeat bounce rhythm. Because my original beat was a little slower than the one that came out.
What's weird is it's a Jadakiss sample, which isn't bounce, but that's a weird thing.
You can turn anything into anything.
Anything into anything.
You had the melody as well too.
Yeah, like all the music I did, like the chords and the little melody that's in there. It's not too complex, but.
And it doesn't hurt to have a viral dance craze.
It doesn't hurt.
In the leads, huh?
Yeah, no. Shout out to Shiggy. He's definitely a super cool guy. I had met him a week ago.
Oh, cool.
But it was all love.
Cool.
What is his background?
I don't know too much about his background. I know he's like an IG, like an Instagram, like I don't want to say a comedian, but he does like, you know, skits and funny different stuff. But he's hilarious. He does like a really good. First take, like an ESPN first take impression of Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah. Oh, does he really?
That was hilarious.
I gotta see that.
He's cool.
Yeah.
Good dude.
So, did Cleveland, Ohio help shape Trap Money Benny? Does
Definitely.
being there?
Definitely.
In what ways?
It's gray and cloudy for like 3/4 of the year, so you're kind of forced to sit inside and be on the computer.
This picture was taken at noon, right?
You would, yeah, right.
Sorry, Cleveland.
Dang.
I've never been there,
but
I like Ohio.
It's beautiful in September, October. I will love to go home for like a month in those times. But other than that, it's like super humid and hot in the summer. I went back for the 4th of July, and we were playing cornhole, and it was like 80 degrees out.
You almost died.
And it was like, cornhole is the most effortless sport in the world. You take a step and swing your arm.
Right.
And I was drenched in sweat.
Right.
And it's like, Jesus.
Yeah, we had that experience in Nashville about a month ago. We had landed, and when you go from LA to Nashville on Southwest, you park at a gate that is in a different part of Tennessee. It is the longest way to get to Baggage. And I think by the time we got there, you were just dripping. I was like, did Dave go through a shower? What?
Man, yeah.
It was,
It's
but
no
that,
joke.
people don't understand that kind of humidity is back there. But I also think there is an important balance between maintaining what makes you you, even if you don't live there, so it doesn't get sort of washed away in the big cityness. Do you fight to sort of maintain that part of you that you...
So moving out to LA was like really important for me to find somewhere that felt like home. And because I come from I was fortunate enough to live in the same house my whole entire life.
Wow.
So like a front yard, and I'm from the suburbs, so like the front yard and backyard
It's important.
is important to me. Like I'm only used to waking up to dogs barking. I'm not really I'm not fond of like jackhammers and car horns.
Right,
And
freeways.
New York is not for me.
Right.
Basically.
Right.
So coming out here, it was important that I found a spot that was like not too out of the mix, but felt like home. And Studio City is like the coolest place in the world.
There's two legends, Jimmy Jam and Terry, where they currently live. I remember, I think it was Jimmy, or one of them told me, it's because it reminded them of Minneapolis. And they went to go find it and went way on the outskirts of LA just to have that sort of feel. And I think that the tie to creativity is the point of this. Like, it's part of your equilibrium allows you then to be creative in the way you want to be creative.
Right.
And that helps maintain whatever signature you have to continue to grow, particularly when everything's coming at you. You have to feel rooted.
Right. I'm around noise and music and loudness all day. So when I go home, it's important that it's like peace and quiet. Even though I might be loud at the house sometimes, but yeah.
So what do you work on? What's your process? What's your flow?
So Lawrence converted me a little over a year ago to Ableton.
Yeah, you
and
can't
back.
walk around there unless you say Ableton.
No, yeah, you can't.
No question.
He's not letting you leave his site until you know Ableton.
Until you convert to Ableton, absolutely.
And
I convert to Ableton, I don't even make music.
But yeah, Ableton is amazing. And but Ableton, and then I'll track out to Pro Tools and kind of arrange and mix a little and edit. But yeah, those are my babies. I love them to death.
Do you have a go-to mixer? Do you do your mixing?
I like to do all my own stuff just because I'm particular about it.
Oh, cool.
But there's a few people that I like to send it to, or just depending. But yeah.
The stuff that you like to do, is it all hip-hop and kind of in that space? Do you have aspirations outside of it? What's the Trap Money vision?
It's kind of all over the place. We're working with James and the guys. It's like they're doing everything. So it's like I got to learn how to do everything.
Yep.
So they had me making reggae beats, super pop beats, just whatever. And I listen to everything now. So it's like I've been listening to everything. So it just to get my skill set up and to learn how to do all these different things is like it keeps me learning, keeps me growing, and keeps me hungry and want to do more than just make rap or trap or urban music, you know?
This is important to me and my audience. I hope the answer is yes. Did you do the beat for it all in a laptop?
Yes.
And that's so cool. It's just the world we live in.
A laptop and a MIDI keyboard.
Wow.
Now, when you get mixes back, are you comparing them to how they would sound on a laptop, in earbuds, and on big speakers? Is there a...
Yeah, especially when I mix, I'll listen to it. So my ideal mix setup is just like 2 8-inch monitors, preferably Atoms, because I love them, and just my laptop. So when I listen back, I'll listen to headphones, earbuds. I'll pull them out halfway through the song and listen to it out of the laptop.
And you're a no sub guy.
No sub.
No sub.
Bypass. If I have a sub, it needs a bypass on there.
Gotcha.
We were talking before the show, and you said what attracted you to music was the sub in your father's car. Aren't you disrespecting your father's memory by not having a sub?
Kind of, but he'd understand. But
That makes no sense.
I like to check my sub, or check my bass with the sub.
In your father's car.
In my father. If only he had the same car still.
He'll get off of this in about 10 minutes.
That makes no sense, Herb.
I love subwoofers in cars, but when I'm working on my music specifically, I like no sub. I don't know why. That's just my preferred method.
Of course, I'm just...
I saw where you put a mixtape together. who were your influences coming up? Was it a wide variety of folks?
Growing up as a kid,
Yeah.
My dad had me listening to like Alan Jackson and like super country music, and then like Mariah Carey, and then like Earth, Wind and Fire. So just like all these like, and then Elton John, obviously, just like all these different genres and just like all like the cool stuff that I wasn't around to hear yet, basically.
And see, that's one of the functions of the Midwest that I think unless you live there, you don't understand. You're kind of hit with everything,
Right.
And it shapes you. My time in Kentucky, as we talked about, same way. Like it was just so many different things, and you find out what's cool about Alan Jackson. You find out what's cool about Earth, Wind and Fire, and then all of a sudden you're imprinted differently. That's a blessing. I mean, you don't know it at the time, but it turns out to be a blessing later.
Yeah,
for sure.
All of it really has just cool bass. That's how I got like. That's why I thought music was so cool, because I don't come from a musical background. Nobody in my family really does music. I think some of my cousins played guitar, maybe, but no one did music. So that's what was like my big inspiration. Is like bass. Just you feel it. You can feel bass, and you hear it obviously, but it really like grabs you.
And you do it without a sub.
And I do it without a sub.
That's a new.
That ain't
level.
right. That ain't right.
That's a new level of thing.
So, if you don't mind telling us, the virtual synth that played the main melody, what was that?
I don't remember exactly the name of it.
Oh yeah, you do. Come on, man, spill the beans.
I think it's so cool that you don't remember.
I'm trying to think. Putting me on the spot.
That's okay.
I don't remember the name of it.
Just say anything and it will work.
It was a really cool plugin in Ableton.
Oh, it was a stock one.
I don't know if it was a stock, but it was in Ableton, I'll tell you that.
For sure it was in Ableton, no matter what.
I got it from one of the guys.
Rand's like get publishing every time Ableton's name was
So where'd
mentioned.
the drums come from? Your drum sample?
The drums are just like drums that I've had for years. Like they're just like drums I found on the internet years ago that I just have been in my archive. They're kind of like my signature drums that I like to
your
use a lot.
go-tos?
Yeah, definitely some of my go-tos for sure.
In some ways, what's interesting as we get to know you and as I listen to you, you remind me somewhat when we've had EDM guys on. They're focused on production, but they're mostly focused on how it feels,
right?
And not all this sort of specificity. And I carved out this and I did that the other, and
I kind of get there more so after I like the beat,
right,
or the whatever,
and then you get more specific.
Yeah.
So it's instinct and feel first, and then shaping afterwards.
Correct.
And then so people who you're working with 21 Savage, Chief Keef, you got a whole bunch of different things going on. Lil Yachty, they trust that process with you at this stage of the game. I'm assuming. What kind of stuff are you doing with them, or have done with them?
Me and Yachty we've been just doing like endless songs for like the past year. Just we'll go to the studio and I'll pull up a beat and he'll go make a song in 10 minutes. And then he's like, "Oh, pull up another beat."
Let's go.
But he trusts me to play. Like he'll rap on any beat I play because he trusts me and he trusts my ability.
That's cool.
Yeah, he's like that's like my good friend.
Have you ridden in a car with him?
I have.
Because I saw Noisy, an episode in Atlanta on Noisy, and man, he was like running off the road and stuff at 90 miles an hour.
So
that's a good song.
A good story I can tell you is we were coming home from the studio. This is probably a couple months ago, and he was driving, texting with two phones, and blaring Frank Ocean on the freeway. And we were going at least 120. I was like, "Yo, give me both your phones. I'll respond for you. Just tell me what to say,
please, or let me drive."
Yeah.
One of the two.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't really like anybody to drive.
Oh, okay.
He likes to drive. But
His
yeah,
family won't ride with him. You shouldn't be doing that.
No,
I
I
mean,
trust him.
If he was really cool, he would have, at that speed, he would have jumped out and did the dance.
No, you don't need anybody else jumping out on the freeway.
Right, yeah,
Please,
I was going to say, don't jump out and do that. I've seen some.
Put the car in park,
Yeah,
please.
it's cool, but it's not that cool. Right, it's been done. I've seen more people bite the dust. It's not pretty.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Are there other co-writers that you like working with? Have you started to get to the point where you have folks who either top line or something that beyond the guys that are now starting to be people you like to go to get, like Yachty or whoever?
I work with my one good friend. His name's Nate Fox. He's in The Social Experiment with Chance the Rapper. That's like my musical dad, if you will. But like that's like one of my favorite people to work with, just because like he does a lot of like he does things like a lot of different ways than I would do. So I learn from him,
and vice versa. Probably.
Yeah, and because he's like a straight into a Pro Tools guy. Like he'll play the guitar in the Pro Tools and track. He tracks everything, and it's like cool to see because like I'm programming a lot. Like I'll play and then I'll program it. So it's cool to like get like a different perspective always. And he's always showing me some cool new tricks, and I'm always trying to show him some new stuff that I learned. So it's a cool balance.
Is there an art to collaboration? Some people can do it and some people can't.
I think it would just be like just respect the other person's workflow and let them try to get their idea out. Don't try to interfere with like, because it takes, sometimes it'll take whoever a second to like, not everybody's perfect, you can't do everything perfect always, but they'll like, for instance, when I'm working with Nate, like he'll sit at the computer for 30 minutes and do whatever, and then he'll be like, here, and then I'll do my thing for 30 minutes. We kind of just let each other like live and, let it be natural, but, and then we just tweak back and forth or just, add different stuff.
Having spent some time back there, one of the things about the Midwest that, can't say for everybody, but is sports were always big back in the Midwest. And I find that there is a competition kind of gene that sits in people from the Midwest.
Definitely.
That they come, and to me, when I first saw you at the party before I even met you, I was like, this cat's driven. Even the way he's shaking hands is like, so I feel like you have that kind of competitive thing in you.
Yeah. So the high school I went to, I didn't play any high school sports, but the high school I went to is like, if you go to my high school and you play sports, you got to be going D1, playing D1 ball, and then going to the league. Like they're like, no. So being around that, and then just like my parents are like my big motivation. Like they always wanted me to like succeed and win, and knowledge is power, and just, And
you find that inside. You don't have to get it from other places.
Right.
It just comes.
It's just
you.
like, just like wanting to succeed and do good stuff.
What artist would you just be thrilled beyond belief to do a song for right now? Who's the one that when you were a little kid you wish you could work with?
I would love to work with Elton John if he's still making music. I would love to work with Dream. Super fan.
Yeah, me too.
Is Benny from Benny and the Jets, or is Benny from a number of places? Well, but when you turn it into kind of a handle with Trap Money and so forth, like, because I know we talked about Benny the Jet Rodriguez and then Benny and the Jets, which you correctly pointed out.
So my real name is Benjamin.
Right.
So that's where the Benny comes from.
You weren't going to go with Benjamin.
No.
Right.
Maybe when I hit a certain age, I might just switch up.
Because my real name's Herbert.
It worked okay. It worked okay for Breaking Benjamin.
True. And my mom calls me Ben, and my dad calls me Benny. So
They can't all be Jules. You got to take. They come out in like
but you
groups,
want one of them to be.
Like there are a few tens, a few nines, and a few minus tens.
All right. Well, we're waiting on the tens.
Talisha hasn't come hit me yet, so I'm okay.
Well, no, but she's giving me signals.
Okay, good.
Welcome to Pensado's place. So out here now, running around doing your thing. Have ever had any artist aspirations?
For me to be an artist?
Yeah.
No, I like being behind the scenes. I like being like not in the spotlight, if you will. But maybe, I don't know, I might go somewhere crazy.
Me as somebody is not just going to lay comfortable. You're going to find something that.
It's just not. I don't know. It just, to be an artist, you're very vulnerable. You're very like. I salute anybody that's an artist.
Who are your favorite producers? We'll figure it out from this.
My favorite producers are Zaytoven and Tricky Stewart.
Well, Tricky's not an artist. Have you met Tricky?
I have not.
I'll introduce you when we leave.
What have you learned in the Rance James thing? Is there, in working with the guys, has that grown part of it, besides Ableton or die. clearly, I was worried about your guy who you like writing with because he's a Pro Tools guy. I didn't want he and Rance to meet and just tee up.
That would be a good day. I would love to see that.
That would be great to film. If you get video, give it to us so we can show it.
You.
Absolutely. I remember interviewing James once at something, an Imstafesta here, where I attempted to describe his style, which was about 5 or 6 different ways. You know, the simple hook, but there's really saying something, and the kind of soulfulness that he does. He likes this sort of layered background vocals in terms of some of his arrangements for his stuff. But he has an ability to do things that I think have signature but can fit anywhere.
Right. That's what I get, or I've tried to like learn from them is just like try to be good at everything. There's no limit. There's no one can tell you you can't do that. You can't add this snare, or you can't use these kind of chords, or whatever. Like try anything and just do your best.
And then that tool can go on Tears for Fears or whoever.
You're in a great spot to learn about lyrics. Is that part of your growth to at some point learn how to do your own lyrics and melodies?
I kind of want to, but I hate English. I hate English class. I was never good at English. I love math. I feel like that's why music kind of connects with me, because I was always good. It's kind of just math. Or at least music theory is math. It's to some extent. But I hate English class. I was so terrible at it.
What's that got to do with lyrics, really?
I hate writing.
Oh.
I can't do it.
Dictated into a computer.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't want to say I'm not good with words or speaking, but I don't know. Maybe one day.
Yeah.
I got to read a few.
You're in a great spot to learn. Those guys are the best.
Right.
Well, what's really cool is your signatures are so unique. So you like math, so that makes you like 2 out of 2 trillion, which is really cool.
I like math.
You love bass, but don't use a sub. So there's all kinds of sort of Benny
anomalies.
And it's cool to be an anomaly. All right, sometimes being an anomaly, since you're competitive, is this sport called batter's box. So you need to throw some Midwestern game up in here, which I'm sure you will.
Some Midwestern gas.
Yeah, absolutely. So, DP, are you ready?
I'm born ready.
Well.
Me and Gaga.
Okay,
that
cool.
That song's about me.
You've been full of jewels this one, so fire away.
I think I slept too much. Tempo.
168.
Got it. Bass.
No sub.
Bounce music.
Love it.
Snares.
Loud, but not louder than the kick.
Good answer. 808. It's a sub.
Bypass. Need a bypass button. Love that. But
Ableton Live.
The Grail, the Holy Grail. Wouldn't be here without it.
Trap.
Wouldn't be here without it.
MIDI. Okay.
I can say that.
Okay.
MIDI is amazing. Just you can play and you can play and rearrange it as many times as you want. It's not going anywhere.
What's the cheapest piece of gear that you like to use in your creative process?
My auxiliary cord.
The what?
The auxiliary cord. If you don't have an interface.
That's the most unique cheap gear answer we've had.
Trader. One day I'm going to win this.
No, probably not. Education. Important. I saw some pictures of you down at the Academy. Give it your take on that, what they're doing, and the education in general. Is important.
It is, but it's really dope what they're doing at the Academy. They're like teaching you how to apply it to like real life. It's like real life music lessons. It's not like
theory.
Go to the school, go to university or go to college, and here's how you work Pro Tools. And it's like we know how to work on Pro Tools. Like how do we make cool stuff happen, and how do we interact with other people and work in the industry. It's not really being taught. So what they're doing is really unique and genuine, and it's not being taught yet. So it's like this whole new monster.
Groundbreaking.
Yeah. But
so cool.
And then from what I understand, you guys got together and you're going to collectively do the dance right now, correct?
with one leg.
Huh?
On one leg.
Well, it's actually supposed to be like, a boomerang. So you start, and then it'll come around to me. You ready? You want to give him a beat?
I just throw up the heart.
I was gonna go with the heart.
I just throw up the heart.
I'll do the steering wheel.
Was that your dance just then?
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
Little Pee Wee Herman.
All right. You got it, because you don't dance. Welcome. He did the heart, he did the this. And then
That's going viral. You're going viral.
Oh, yeah, no question. No
I
question
miss
about
Pee
it.
Wee Herman.
You're in Studio City, so you're not far.
Not too far.
Don't be a stranger. I actually, at the peer party, came up really like timid and stuff. I was like, hey man, congratulations. I know the guys. He was like, I know who you are. Watch the show. And I was like,
I'm a big fan. Come on.
Yeah, I was like, come on the show. And then
Just let me know where and when I'm there.
Yeah, and then Chesko's my boy and our boy and James our boy. So it's all a family thing, which makes it doubly good.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we are. The beauty about having done this for a while is that you recognize people who can innovate, and there can be completely good people who are going to add to the portfolio of goodness out there, and then there's some people that break through and do different and do unique. And you feel to me like one of those kinds of guys that it's in your burner to be that, So however way we can be helpful to the platform, please don't be a stranger.
Thank you.
We're here, we're around the corner. Let us come by the studio once when you're working.
Anytime.
We'll tape something and do a walkthrough if you'd like us to. We'd love to. Chesko, James, shout out, all good
Shout out to the
stuff.
guys,
Rance,
1500 or nothing.
Twyla, all the gang.
$29.95 or nothing. Tell them.
Absolutely. Get some change back if you want. Dave, take us home.
Well, I mean, Herb, you kind of did a lot of what I was going to say, but the good guys do win, and the good guys do finish first. The thing that struck me the most was the patience he had for 5 years of waiting, and then the incredible amount of patience it took that last 10 days to know whether it was going to come out or not, and then to just keep updating his computer or I'm guessing Spotify, to see if it was on yet. If it was on yet, it was on yet. It's just a heartwarming story, and I think it's something that we should all take notice of and try and get a little bit of that spirit in ourselves too. We'll see you next week.